This is FanSpeak, a weekly live show where the fans of comics and its community are our guests. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. This is FanSpeak for what? The second week of March? Oh, goodness. Time is flying, but nevertheless, happy to have you here, brothers and sisters. We're going to be coming ourselves into the choir of coronavirus, I'm sure, and talking about many other things. Happy to have you here. Do keep in mind, we do appreciate your attendance to our church of not talking about coronavirus. And we certainly appreciate all those kind of hitting those links and subs and likes and all those things you're supposed to hit. But more importantly, hit that share button and let your family and friends and extended community know what's going on so they can come over here and be with us. But nevertheless, we got a big crew, as you can see in here today, to get on to talk about some of the interesting news of the day. But first thing I need to do is come over here and say hello to my panel. Of course, we are joined by the most amazing artist and an absolute pain in my ass, John Dillard.
Hey Chester, how's it going?
I'm great, man. How are you, you beautiful human?
I heard that you weren't great.
I am great. I'm always great. Yeah, I don't care. I'm a happy boy. I'm a happy boy. But happy to have you, John. And what are you working on, dude?
Oh, I'm working on pages for the Buckler. That's all.
Cool. Now it's cool. Now it's looking beautiful though, dude. It's really good
Thank you,
pages
sir.
coming out of you for that, dude. It's gorgeous stuff, and I love the satire of it too. It's really it's fun.
Matter of fact, I just finished the page. Well, this is the bottom portion because I'm sending all these out to the people that backed Rick's book. So
Yeah.
This is the bottom portion of the last page I was working on.
Oh no, he took his cloak, dude. Oh no,
Mm-hmm.
it's not good. That's the ultimate humiliation. That's awesome.
Poor fellow, you know.
Poor fellow, indeed. Well, anyway, happy to have you here, John. Of course, we're going to be doing Screw Battle tomorrow. A little bit of a complicated setup, but sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it, actually.
Well, we're very professional over at Script Battle. You know, I know you're not used to that sort of thing.
That's true. That is true.
Right.
I'm an absolute hack. Yeah.
You tell him, John.
Yeah, that's right. But anyway, thank you, John. We're also, as you guys can hear, he's stopped eating and he seems to be sitting straight up, which is nice. Todd Mulrooney, how you doing, dude?
I'm doing really good. How's it going?
As I said, I'm doing very well. Thank you. It's a beautiful sunny day. Got a cup of coffee and with a bunch of friends. How could I be better?
Have you started building that boat yet?
No, but I've started getting everything in order. I've been basically gathering supplies, of course, getting a location and all that kind of stuff. I will be getting to it. I don't know. Maybe this summer I might starting putting the keel down, but I'm moving toward that. Yeah.
You promised to take some video, right?
Of
A little bit
course.
here and there. All right, awesome.
Oh no, I'm gonna drop. I'll probably drop a weekly on it. Why not? You know, it'll be fun. I actually got a couple of people who are going to be helping me with it, and one of them does work for the local cable affiliate, so I might actually get some professional video on it. So we'll see. But I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. I actually got a couple of old dudes. I mean, old shipbuilders, like the kind of old Japanese style, going to come and help me because they have woodworking experience. So it's going to be fun.
So here in America, right? It's Wednesday's Comic Book Day, but what is American Comic Book Day in Japan?
Monday. We don't have American comic books, but I mean, as far as manga day, it's Monday.
Yeah, and you can't get American books anywhere.
You can, but you really, really have to go hunting for it. I mean, they're very specialty items. Matter of fact, the only consistent shop that I can think of my offhand, is in Akihabara in Tokyo, which is kind of far away.
Akihabara.
Yeah, Akihabara. Yeah, it's they have an actual comic book store that is about the size of my wife's closet. So, yeah.
Rough.
Yeah, very rough. But they're hard to find. There are a few places here or there, inconsistently you can pick up, because they do translate some of the bigger books. I would call I say the trades. They do translate some of the trades and drop them here or there, but they just never been able to bust into the Japanese market. I mean, we had CB Sobalski here for what, over a decade trying to get it done, and he couldn't make a dent. So I mean, it is what it is, you know. But Monday is manga day, so yeah. Anyway, thank you, Todd. We're also joined by the absolutely gorgeous man that is Pixel Trader. How you doing, dude?
I'm doing very well, man. It's good to be here.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to have you. Now you're gonna have some just blazing and scintillating dialogue for us today.
No.
There you go. There it is. There it is. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. We're also joined by the Slick Jimmy.
Woo-ha!
You do realize your nickname is kind of an analog for a wet penis, right?
Holy cow, is it?
It
That's
is.
really weird.
Oh, Jesus, there it is. All right. Well, then, of course, we have to get into the proper introduction for my ongoing attempt to absolutely hold up in the shining light that which flies above us all and looks down upon the whingers and says, "No, you are unworthy," as he streaks across the sky, his cape furling behind him, whiffling in the wind, lightning out of his nostrils. He is Thundero.
I now have officially become some sort of weird bull creature that shoots lightning out of my nose.
That's right. That's right. It will
I'm
evolve.
for it. I'm totally okay with this event.
It will evolve. You know what I was thinking about doing for half a second there, but I was thinking I probably don't know the lyrics well enough, but I'm going to get it done. I actually will prepare one because I do these off of the top of my head, but I will prepare one, and I do believe that Captain America's mighty shield shall be translated into a Thundero song. So.
I endorse it at all times.
There
I
you go.
really need to get recordings of these so I can just play them as I enter buildings.
That's true. That's true. Although I am going to create one where he's faster than the Yugoslavians' best export. Is able to jump small sidewalks in suburbia, etc. I'll have to give you the Superman treatment with that. But anyway, so thank you all for being here. We're gonna have ourselves some fun today. Pixel's showing something off. What are you showing off there, Pixel? What's that? Oh,
Well, I'm
Brutus.
just working on. Yeah, this is the Cover Crashers card for Brutus. So I have all these cards that I designed for the Cover Crashers project that never wound up funding last year.
Uh-huh.
And I've been just tweaking them a little bit and working on the backs and stuff. And so there are three backs that I need to finish for the cards, and then I got one piece of art that I need to finish for the Graveyard Shit card. And once I get that done, I'm going to release them on my website. I'm not going to do a crowdfund. I'm just going to do pre-order type stuff on the site. Anybody that wants them can buy them at any time. And then once a month, I'll just submit the orders to my manufacturer and have them ship them out to me.
Oh, cool.
So that
Well,
goes.
why don't you and I, we both have experience with this. Why don't you and I work on turning this Cover Crashers into a game? A little card game. We could do that.
We
easy,
could.
dude.
We probably could. My only thing about this is I don't want to overutilize the characters like that. I thought just doing a single card kind of thing out of it is one thing, but to actually turn it into a full game, I kind of feel like I need to have original characters for all of it.
Well,
maybe.
Yeah, I get your point. You'd have to get permission for that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think these guys would probably give it to you, man. I mean, we don't have to fill it with all the kind of standard play cards like the punch card or whatever. That doesn't have to have the original stuff on it. But I don't know. I was just thinking, try to make it something more. Therefore, more people might jump on it, and making it an indie revival based, like a deck builder or something like that, might catch some attention. I think we could probably get permission from a lot of guys, dude.
It's possible. I think we can. I think there may be a couple of people already working on something like that. But if we got a system pulled together, it wouldn't be too hard to get the game ready to go.
You know what I say? F permission. That's what I say.
Yeah. No, Todd. No, we shall not take your advice. Yeah.
Those are our original characters. They're mashups. That works.
Well, right. I mean, I could take my character stuff that I've done, and because it's a parody.
That's fair.
I could work with it, but especially like Clone Star, because Clone Star is definitely a mashup of characters. But that's a whole other story there.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, I think it would make it more appealing, more interesting. I think people get a kick out of it, and therefore you might be able to, I don't know if you'd make much money on it, but you could probably get it funded. You know what I mean? And I'd be happy to help you with that. I'm really good with those kind of mechanics for things like that,
Yeah, well, it's something to consider for sure. The other thing too is I've got 3D models being made for Critical Snail because I am looking at making miniatures and doing a full-on Critical Snails tabletop combat game like Car Wars.
Oh, sure.
So there's that.
Yeah.
Then there's also the Aggressor game, which I've got, which is the universe that Critical Snail actually exists in. It's already a game that's been developed, and we've got models and stuff already done for all that we're promoting. So there's a lot of kind of lot of stuff going on at one time where I don't know. We'll have to see, but we can talk about it later. I think
Yeah,
it might
sure.
be something.
It's just an
worthwhile to do.
idea. But I do like the
Yeah.
idea of with Critical Snail, the wacky racers version of Car Wars. That's kind of cool, dude. Yeah, I can see
Yeah.
that already in my head. For all of those of you who didn't play Car Wars back in the day, another Steve Jackson game. Pretty sure that's a Steve Jackson game. Yeah, yeah, it is.
Yep.
It's one
Yeah.
of his little baggy games, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, yeah. That was a
It
fun
has a
little
full
game,
box
dude.
and stuff too. But yeah.
Oh, does
Yeah.
it now? I'm pretty sure, if I remember, it was one of those little plastic baggy games he used to put out. It was so weird. But back in the day, Steve Jackson was very low budget. Anyway, let me come over here and share and get into our news for today because we got a lot to cover. So I don't want to dilly or dally. Uh, All right, here we go. Oh, yeah, Critical Snail. Nice looking, dude. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Now let's go ahead and jump right into it. First thing we want to start out with today is from our very own Pixel Trader. He brought my attention to it, and this is from Snopes, whichever that means. And was COVID-19 found in packages of toilet paper? Now, that right there is freaking karma, dude. That right there. That's beautiful. I mean, come on. If that doesn't make you chuckle, what will? People
And that was
going.
the whole thing. I knew it was fake. I just wanted to spread it out just to freak people out because I'm a troll sometimes.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I have no problem with that. I just love the concept. It's hilarious because people lost their damn mind about toilet
Yes, they
paper and
did.
a whole bunch of other stuff. It's like, calm down. Calm down. It's okay. It really is okay.
Well, the thing is, Chester, now it's an actual problem because I buy toilet papers in rolls of like packs of like 24. And like in a week, I'm gonna need toilet paper, and if this is still going on, I might have to stab somebody for it.
There you go. There it is.
It's even reached here now. My mother-in-law sent my wife a picture earlier of one of our local department stores. The shelves of all the toilet paper just gone. Just gone.
Yeah. Well,
It's such a weird thing that you have to hoard.
I
would
know it's
never-
bizarre. Yeah, we had that for like half a day here in Japan, and the government came on the news and said, "Really, really," and the Japanese bowed their head in shame, and it stopped like instantly. So because it's dumb, because it is dumb. I don't think go and get a little bit of food, back yourself up, because if you do get sick and you got to stay in your house for 30 days, it'd be easier if you had yourself supplied, right? So I mean
Right.
that makes sense. And you should have toilet paper on hand, sure, but I don't get the panic that drove itself to the toilet paper. But people really need to calm down, calm down, calm down. It's all right. It's all right. It will burn itself out. It will do what it does. And I think so far America has done a pretty good job. You'll certainly have more cases come up. I mean, how can you not? But it's not going to blow out. It's not going to end the world. It's not the zombie apocalypse. Calm down, because that's what people seem to be thinking. And of course, the frickin' media is not helping, is it? I mean, those guys desperately, like, you can see them giddily laughing like Joker, sitting there wanting there to be this incredible pandemic that murders the world, destroys the economy, and therefore maybe, just maybe, absent-minded dementia Joe Biden can beat Trump. Can you believe these assholes?
Well, yes, I can because they're evil. But two, what they're not thinking long term. Say this actually does somehow make it through the summer and we're still in trouble.
That
They
would
can
be
just cancel the election. They can just be, we can't have the election because people can't come out of their homes.
That's fair. Yeah. Well, you hear them getting
Yeah.
up. I heard them yesterday. They were complaining, saying Trump is still having his rallies. It's incredibly irresponsible. Okay, we'll talk to Biden and old Bernie boy as well. No, that doesn't count because they're one of your people. Oh, I get it. I get it. But yeah, no, it's it's calm down. This is funny though. I get a chuckle out of this. This is funny, and I know some of you saying, "Chester, don't laugh at people that could be dying." Sometimes death is funny. Sometimes. But speaking of death, that is not necessarily funny, but needs to be announced. We did have someone pass away. Do you like that? You like that transition there? That was pretty good. But comic book pioneer Alan Bellman passes away. Now, this is a super, super old guy, 95 years old, and you probably have no clue who he is unless you're a deep comic book historian type. But this guy was one of the dudes who worked on Captain America, Submariner, Human Torch. He worked on other things like the Patriot, I believe. I think they give me a list here. There's somewhere I saw it. The Destroyer, Human Torch, Jap Buster Johnson. Sweet, what a name. Jet
Wow.
Dixon. Oh, I like Jet Dixon. That's a cool name. Of the Space Squadron. Oh, neat dude. All Winners Comics, etc., etc., etc. So this is a Golden Age guy. And he was part of all of that. He was an illustrator, of course. If you like the old Golden Age art, he was one of those guys who did that. He spent the past 20 years of his life, which is his retirement, taking care of the archive that is timely for Timely Comics. So this dude is not unimportant. He's one of the founders of modern comic books for sure, and he's done a lot of things that people have got a lot of enjoyment out of. So he should be respected, remembered. Condolences to the family, of course, and safe journeys. But here's a guy whose name I had never heard before, but yet I should have. I'm supposed to be a comic book guy, and this is a dude I should have known about. Any of you guys know about Alan Bellman?
Yeah.
No, sir, not me.
Todd would. Todd is our comic book guy, really. I mean, he knows all this kind of stuff. But he sounds like he was a fairly important fella.
Well, because when you put him up against his contemporaries of the time, he actually kind of resembled Buscema, when a lot of people were kind of blocky and weren't detailed. He was actually a little bit more. He did some feathering and things like that were just starting to begin in comics. If you look at like Sprang and the other guy there, Bob Kane,
Mhm.
there was usually just an outline and like one line to denote muscle, right? Maybe just a bicep line. This guy was a little bit more than that. He feathered a lot of his lines and stuff like that. So he was really early incarnation of where art was going.
Yeah.
When John Buscema came on.
Well, it seems from the little bit of research I did, a lot of those, well, I just listed off a bunch of classic characters, right? A lot of those classic characters, their design was set by this dude. So, I mean, Captain America, Submariner, Human Torch, the original Human Torch, of course. All these guys were
Mhm.
kind of set what they look like, and their classic, characteristics was made by Mr. Bellman here. Interesting fellow. It sounds like he did a lot of westerns, jungle adventures, mysteries, and stuff, which of course were popular back then. The actual superhero didn't become really mainstream until the '60s, of course. But they did all start back in the 30s and, of course, during the war. But those kind of mystery stuff, pulp noir and westerns were very popular all the way up until the late 50s, I'd say. I saw this on the page and I was like, yeah, we should give a shout out to this fella and thank him for his lifetime dedication to comic books, dude. That's pretty awesome.
If you go looking for his work, you'll see some things that were really popular back in the day to do. Villains their heads were always bigger than the heroes. They were made to look more like caricatures, and the superheroes looked a little bit more realistic. And that was a trope and a thing that artists did.
Mhm.
And I remember seeing this explained in like the history of comics or something, where a lot of those things were just givens in the industry. Like everyone had to almost like follow suit. And it's really weird to look at old art from this era.
Yeah, it is interesting though. I get a kick out of it, and of course, doing this show for coming on a year and a half, I guess. Doing this show, I've actually learned more about comics than I have in my whole life, which is weird because I've been reading comics since I was 5, 6, right? So it's been a great learning experience, and I'm glad that I learned who this guy was because I should have known who he was. He's actually someone that should be in your repertoire of comic book understanding. So, like I said, safe journey, sir, and thank you. But speaking of big heads, I was going to put this in the middle of the show, but since you mentioned it, I'll take the segue. Speaking of big heads and small bodies, I have a question. And I need a little help with because you guys know I'm a boomer, as you all keep telling me, and I don't understand this whole simp thing. And I
Don't
need a
touch
little help understanding it. So I don't know what that was, but thank you for the music intro. I need a little help with the simp thing. Now, I found something. You guys have probably all seen this already, I'm going to play a video for you if you don't mind. You guys have probably seen it. This is the OK Boomer girl. Now, she's cutish. She's kind of got that Alyssa Milano thing, young Alyssa Milano thing going on a little bit. Her breasts are fine, I guess. She likes to show them off, but she's just a girl. But she blew up, became like, yeah, her channel just became huge overnight, and then it died because she put out a picture that I have a boyfriend and showed her with her boyfriend, which I would expect a girl like this would have a boyfriend. Why wouldn't she? All of a sudden her channel just absolutely collapsed because all of these simps, I guess as I'm being told, were on there thinking and giving her money, thinking they were going to get something from her, and then they found out she had a boyfriend, and therefore they're not going to get anything. So I need to understand the whole simp thing
Oh,
because
this is
it's
a TikTok
confusing.
term.
It is, and I'm confused. I'm going to play it. Here we go. I'm going to even play the audio.
Say, boomer.
Okay.
Okay, boomer. Yeah, boomer. Whatever you say, boomer.
All right.
Okay, boomer.
Now,
Yeah, boomer. Whatever you say, boomer.
I need help because
Okay, boomer.
this is kind of cringy to me.
Whatever you say, boomer. Okay,
Yep.
I get
What
that
is
there.
it? Exactly what do you need help with, Judge?
Well, I need help with understanding why you would think that giving money to and chatting with a girl online is somehow going to get you with the girl. Have you not ever met a woman before?
No, that's the problem. They haven't.
I guess that's the problem because and this continues just showing her she does a lot of dancing. It's just that one caught up because she was wearing a burning shirt, I guess. But she's cute
Yep.
enough. She's kind of scrawny, I think, with a giant head. She's not that hot. I suppose I wouldn't kick her out the bed, but I don't. She's cute. She's cute. I'll end with that. But and she's got a little bit of sass, I suppose. But I just don't get the whole thing. Do you really, really think that this girl sitting up getting money off you, getting paid, cares anything about you? Really, have you never met women before?
Have you
Have
ever
you
seen a
not? You
female
have a
streamer?
mother. What?
If you go on Twitch, especially Twitch, all the gamer girls, all the thoughts that are on there streaming all day long, and men are just throwing money at them. It's
Yeah,
the same damn thing. She's a Twitch streamer
I
that also does
imagine.
stuff on TikTok.
I figured she was a thought.
And
Yeah.
yeah, a simp is by definition is really just a dude that has no chance, but throws money at girls like this online and whatever else in an attempt to gain favor, but never has a chance in hell.
Yeah, but see, it's so easy to get with a chick, dude. It's not hard. I
Well,
don't.
exactly, but you got to think, okay, you're privileged because you're an amazing looking man and you've got a sexy skill that you have with your little horn. And
Oh
so
my God, your check in the mail.
With your little horn.
I know. I love that. There's so many meanings to that.
oh no, but you know what I mean, dude.
Yeah, I know
There's
what you mean.
a certain sexiness to somebody that plays an instrument, has an instrument.
Mhm.
There's certain things that you have that some guys don't, and you especially in
Oh
foreign
my
countries.
God.
Especially in foreign countries, though, you look at okay. Let's talk about cultural difference for a minute.
Yeah.
So there are so many. I don't know if you're on Instagram very often because I know you're one of those guys that tends to avoid the internet except for when you're doing your show. But
Yeah.
like you look at Facebook or even Twitter, Twitch. There's like foreign guys, especially Indian dudes, that are just like, I want to, do horrible things to you. Well, it would be good if you enjoyed that sort of thing, but basically I want to do this to you, I want to do that to you. Completely socially inept, would never be able to say something like that to a person in real life. And it's all different people, even white people though. Everybody has this problem that, well, I shouldn't say everybody, but anybody that's completely socially inept, and there's a lot of them because we're seeing it pretty much every day online now. Those guys have no chance. They might be able to find somebody that's kind of messed up, but they in their heads they've got this standard. Like they want this chick. They don't want the messed up chick in the corner that would give it to them because that she's not hot. And I understand, but they think that by gifting and doing these different things that they can actually get with this person.
It's
And
very
just
bizarre.
a mental disconnect.
It is bizarre. You know, my
Yeah.
son came to me many years ago. He was a first year high school kid, and he was dating this girl that he liked, and she was basically acting like she was going to break up with him. And he kind of came to me for advice. And he said, "Oh, what am I going to do? I really want to stick with this girl and stuff like that." And I said, very simple thing to him. I said, "Stop being so nice." And he listened. And of course, he kept her for years because of it. This whole simp concept is literally the opposite of what you should be doing. You
Yep.
don't
It's
want to be so nice to a girl. You want to be a little rough with her, and you want to be a little keep yourself at a little bit of distance. It makes you more interesting to them. It's just ridiculously counterintuitive action, and I just it's really weird because this girl is super cringy, dude. I mean, come on now. Let me go back. I'm
Oh
gonna
yeah,
play
yeah.
it again. I'm gonna play it again with the
No,
volume. Now,
please
come on.
don't.
Whatever you say.
Have you heard a real
Whatever it
voice?
is,
Okay. Boomer.
I don't have to.
Whatever
I
you
can
say.
see it.
and whatever it is that he wants, he just earned it. I can hear the coins from the Mario game popping up. So whatever Pixel wants, you better send it to him.
Okay, yeah, okay. You keep your jealousy in your pants, Todd.
Please.
It's all right.
Good
It's all right.
Lord.
It's real simple, Chester. I can explain it very simply. These are young men, most of which were raised by single women. And they've been told through society that you have to put women on a pedestal and treat them like goddesses, princesses. They're all princesses and lovely and wonderful.
Then Daryl has it. That is exactly the problem.
And you know where I learned that from? I learned how to engage with women. I learned it, one, from my mother, because she told me never to be nice to a woman who smiles at me. And two, I learned it from my wife, because she is so completely anti any of that,
So cringy.
that it's amazing she's from my generation, actually. It's surprising that she's from my generation.
All right, well, you know, I'll leave it at that. When I saw this come up, because Jeremy over the quartering was talking about it, because I watched, my wife and I enjoy watching Jeremy, actually. I get a kick out of him because he's so, Jeremy, he's usually right about his opinions, but he's so reluctant to give them. It's kind of funny. He's like this very vulnerable creature, but we get a kick
Is-
out of Jeremy.
Has this become the Suck Up to YouTube host show or what? You're sucking up to Jeremy. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Anyway,
Wow.
I just wanted to bring
Todd's
it up
awake.
because she does got a little bit of that Alyssa Milano going on, so I guess I get it. But I'm not talking about her. I have nothing against this girl. I mean, you go, girl. You make money. You go for it. If some idiot wants to give you money because you're showing them the silhouette of your breasticles, rock on, right?
No, she doesn't even get naked.
They
More
don't,
money.
and that's the thing I don't get about the whole thought thing, the Twitch girls, because
Yeah.
it's hard to even dodge pornography on the internet, dude. It's everywhere. So
Yeah, but the
why?
thing is, these guys, they want that girlfriend experience. They want the feeling that they're white knighting. They want the feeling, they're tapping into their primal urge to protect a woman, but that's
Yeah.
not your woman.
Yeah, I get
It's
that.
never going to be
right.
your woman.
That's true. Yeah.
Stop
Yeah, but when she says, "Thank you, J Diller Gaming the System, for your $500 super chat," you're like, "Wow, she loves me."
I fan myself a little bit.
Well, I mean, I just say it's so easy to pick up a chick, especially these days, dude. You guys taught me
No,
about
it's not.
this
It's not
Tinder
easy
stuff.
for these. I'm talking about these guys. It's not easy for these guys to go pick up a chick. What are you talking? Have you seen these guys?
No, I guess not.
Oh man.
Well, they haven't learned the skills to do so.
All right.
So-
Whatever,
I mean, they
man.
want to call these girls, princesses and queens, but you're forgetting that you're supposed to be the king.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, damn straight, man.
Yep.
But
Prince Charming.
but Prince Charming didn't ask permission to give her the kiss, did he? He just took it. He took that shit. All right, moving on. It boggles me, dude. It really boggles me. Like I said, I don't care about this girl at all. You go. I mean, if you can make, she's dead now. I mean, they killed her because
Do you see the site it's from? You should subscribe.
to
Yeah,
OK
if
Boomer.
you can get somebody to
Okay,
color your
Boomer.
comic book because you shake your cans at them, then by all means.
That's right. Yeah, I have no problem with that. I just, for me, it's about this simp plague that seems to be going on, especially in these age, man. That you realize all these stupid feminists are telling these girls to go out and get laid on a daily basis, right? These women are out there trying to get laid. They are actively trying to get laid, and you're not
But
getting a piece of that? Are you kidding me?
Chester,
Have you seen the
you're
dogs that
forgetting
are running around trying to get laid? Come on now.
you're forgetting that all of these women want the alpha, the biker,
Oh, I'll
the
give them
the
the alpha
masculine man. Yeah,
and the
that's what they
omega,
want.
baby.
That's what I'm saying. That's what they want. And most of these guys, literally, I'm not even exaggerating, they cower before women.
Huh?
Cower.
Yeah, that's a
Yes.
simp. That's a simp, right? But
Do you guys
anyway,
remember the store Alpha Beta?
These guys are
Oh.
Zetas.
I guess. It's just sad as hell to me. It's so sad, especially in these days, because in truth, these girls should not be running around laying their legs out like they are. They shouldn't be doing that. It's not good for them psychologically, right? In the long run.
Right.
But that is what it is. There's your reality, boys. And seeing as the girls are listening to idiots and doing stupid stuff, you can either be an actual white knight and not take advantage of that, or you can just be a male and go take advantage of it. But this whole idea of white knighting by throwing money at a girl who could care less about you, it is dumb. You're an idiot. You truly are an idiot.
Have you heard of Amaranth?
I because of was it Booster or Jeremy? One of those guys. Yes, I have heard of her.
Friggin' Amaranth, man. She's a piece of work. I'll tell you what.
She's pretty nasty.
Chester,
She's not even very pretty. Yeah.
And well, I mean,
didn't you
she's
work in
got
strip
bolted on
clubs?
tits, and it looks like she's got a bolted on ass.
Yeah, they do
You
that.
know,
So weird, man. Yeah, go ahead, Thunder.
Didn't you used to work in strip clubs? What do
I
you
I
think
did.
have
those
no
guys
idea. I don't know much about her other than I
$1,000
see her, you know,
Yeah, but see,
once in a while.
that's a little bit different. Those girls are giving you something for what they're doing, and most of the dudes who go to you got to keep in mind Hollywood is full of it, right? The Hollywood trope is there to create a movie to quickly get you through a story. Hollywood is not reality, right? And I did work in strip clubs for like 12 years, right? And the guys who go to strip clubs are not what you're describing to me as a simp. That's not what they are. They're usually dudes that are in there in groups. Sometimes they have girls with them as well. They're just sitting there drinking and partying with naked girls dancing around them. That's really what it is.
That you're thinking of these guys. These are regular guys. They go to strip clubs.
They're
I'm
just
talking
regular
about the
dudes.
guy. I'm talking about the guy that goes there on the Wednesdays, that's sitting by himself, waiting for
Yep.
his favorite girl to come on. That's a simp.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. All right. All right. Yeah. I know. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Yep. The problem is these dudes, they give them money and they say all these things. These girls dance dirty for them because they can't touch them. So of course, what happens? The freaking bouncers have to deal with these girls. We're the ones that have to keep them satisfied. It's such a pain in the ass. It's so much work.
Oh,
It's
what
tiring.
just woe is
Tiring.
Chester.
I know. Jeez, Chester.
Anyway,
He just got so tired, he just line them up against the wall
I
and
know.
bang them in succession, and until they, we're all puddles on the floor, and then he just walk out and clean up. He still had to sweep the floors, though.
No, I didn't sweep shit, man. I'm a bouncer. That's not for me to do. That's a bartender's job.
Oh.
Anyway, moving along.
Did he get you in a see-through shirt, at the door that says security on the back?
No, I never had to wear one of those things. Although because I used to be in really good shape actually, but I did work a couple of times at I don't know. I guess you call it a kind of like a gay strip club. They were actually mixed. They were unisex types. But I did have to wear a couple of tight uniforms in my life. So I have. Yeah, I have. Not the
You got
see-through stuff.
pictures?
No, I don't. Thank God. But
He wore like satin pants and on like a bow tie, and that was it.
No, they were more like satin shirts, tight satin shirts, tight. Yeah, yeah. But anyway, moving on here. I got a couple. Today we got groups of stories that are together. And this first group here is talking about cancellations. Diamond has canceled their retailer summit amid coronavirus impact and spread, which I would say is convenient because usually at these summits, Diamond catches an earful because of their practices, which kind of piss off the brick and mortar people. But this has been canceled, and of course, we know that the Emerald City's been canceled. We know by Southwest has been canceled, and of course, we also know that E3 is canceled. Now, this one didn't surprise me because everybody who was important already pulled out of ESA's E3. The point, the coming. I don't want to talk about these articles directly, but in general. What do you guys think about this just absolutely just widespread canceling of everything? Even though in America, coronavirus is not, it's not really on top of you like that. What do you guys think about that?
I think it's smart, personally.
Yeah.
I think it's smart to do it in advance. If it burns out, they could always, do it later in the fall or something. Now at E3 they probably won't do that, but some of the other ones they could. Um, and I think a few festivals have already planned that. They're just going to move them to the fall and do them then.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I don't think precautions are bad.
yeah,
Hysteria is bad.
Yeah.
A little bit of paranoia, keeps people alive.
yeah.
True.
And I think this is to stop hysteria, right? Because
Yeah.
if somebody goes there and then somebody starts coughing because they just have the sniffles,
Yeah.
and then somebody freaks out, like we see these are videos all over the internet of people freaking out at somebody coughing. It's better just to not have it. It's better than to deal with all that, the security of it, and it'll just be a big headache. And people could legitimately get sick. It's very possible. So you might as well just. E3 is not that important. Everything they're going to announce, they can just announce later or at a different one or just online. Most people watch it online anyway.
Well, it's a fair point you make because just yesterday we had a very interesting situation happen in this fishing village, right? I guess about 18, 19 years ago, this little village here merged with the nearby town. They call it a city, but it isn't a city from my point of view. But they merged it, and they do that kind of thing in Japan occasionally. So the local leadership here, they had a mayor and all that kind of stuff. It's completely gone. It's just part of the near. It's just an area in the nearby town. But my wife's father was the vice mayor of the town for this village for a long time, and of course the vice mayor is the one that does everything, right? And so he still, and the guy who was the mayor for a long time, he passed away. He's kind of the authority. Everyone comes to him still, even though he's a really old guy. And yesterday we had in the village some 30-year-old boy died. And we don't know why yet. We're still waiting. This is you have to understand the biggest controversy we had in this town was probably about 25 years ago, where a young junior high school boy had stole a bunch of coins out of someone's car. Mhm. Yeah. So this is kind of what happened because he wasn't ill, he didn't have a disease or anything like that. But of course, what happened was this old lady, because everyone's speculating, this old lady came over to my wife's father's house, and she says, "I think he died from the coronavirus." Right? And her father was like, "No, no, don't you go around saying that to anybody." He was quite stark with her, actually, as he should be. But even because she was a little old, doddering old lady, right? But it's just, why did you jump to that? We don't even have coronavirus anywhere near us, right? Anywhere near us. But yet she jumped to that conclusion, and that's the kind of thinking people have. And this is why you see videos of people in frickin' Walmarts fighting old ladies over toilet paper. I mean, really? Get a grip, right?
People, let me just tell you real quick. Toilet paper is not a necessity. It's a
No,
nicety.
it
It's
is.
not necessary. You'll be all right without it. You just get in there and clean up a little bit, and everything will be fine. It's not the end of the world if you don't have the little paper to take care of that problem for you.
Yeah.
So I looked up just because I was curious, and I think I'd heard this before, but back in the day when you had like outhouses, what they'd do is they'd have rags and they'd have a bucket right next to you with a little bit of water, and you would douse it down, and then you and there would be another bucket. When you use the rags, you put it in the bucket, and that would be daily washed. It's not that hard to figure these things out. People act like it's the end of the world for something like toilet paper,
Mhm.
or we need to have bottled water. Well, I mean, come on, it's not that hard to sterilize water. People are
Yeah.
fucking morons.
They are,
Correct.
yeah. And the idea that you're going to lose local utilities anyway, it doesn't make sense. In the worst case scenario, with this situation, you're looking at losing 4% of the population, which is awful. But that's not going to stop utilities. That's not going to stop
No,
the
it's not.
operation. No.
Well, I
So
mean, I think I've told this story before. I mean, my when the Spanish influenza came through, I lost a great uncle and a great aunt. One on a great uncle on one side and a great aunt and uncle on the other side. That's and that was it's a percentage of my family. But I asked my mom about what my grandmother said about it, and she said life just went on. It just people were sick, and I
yeah.
was like, you know, we are so soft and namby-pamby
Oh my
compared
God.
to
Yeah.
what people went through. We don't realize how good we have it. I mean, people died all the time in childbirth, in the first half of the last century.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Anyway,
It is. No,
I
you're
went
right. You're
off on
right.
a tangent.
No, but it's true though. People need to calm down.
That's true.
It's not that. It's not like that. Now there is another. Pixel has something we want to say, but I just want to kind of. I'll wait. Go ahead, Pixel.
No, he's right. There is a good interview though. I think you should listen to. Joe Rogan just had a guy on
Yeah.
yesterday or today. I think it was yesterday, um, who basically said that we are just seeing the beginning of this. Now, whether or not that's true, it depends on your perspective on the whole situation. But um, if he is right, and the team that he's working with has been right so far, we're in for a few months of this continuing to spread and getting worse and worse. But like you were saying, toilet paper has been run out. People are grabbing water, even though the services are there. We've got a bidet at home. We've had it for a couple of years. And I'm just looking at it going, okay, I don't use that much toilet paper anyway, so I'm good. I've got a whole batch in the back. But uh, it's hand sanitizer. Like hand sanitizer is running out now. People are buying all that up. Hand sanitizer doesn't work unless it's at least 70% alcohol, but everybody's buying up every little bit of hand sanitizer they can get. Uh, Isopropyl alcohol is being run on because people know they can make hand sanitizer out of isopropyl alcohol. And so we've got all these supplies and stuff that are being diminished for that are legitimate needs for people that have other ailments,
Yeah.
and they're not getting any of this.
Yeah,
So
but
there's a lot of misinformation running around, but people need to focus. Yeah.
no, you're right, and I'm sure that doctor is correct, because the R naught is so high on this thing, meaning it's very very contagious. Sure, but we've
Yeah.
already seen a very hard pushback on the mortality rate, because there are already existing many drugs that are for other things that have a very strong effect on it. So we're seeing
Antivirals.
antivirals, or we're seeing HIV drugs being used well against it. Ebola type of drugs are working against it. So there are treatments for it, and the mortality is being pushed way down. So it's I think in the long run, unless it just explodes like it did in Italy, you're not gonna you're not gonna have a huge mortality on this
Well,
virus.
the other thing, even like the CDC people that have been working with Trump, the Trump administration, Department of Health, blah blah blah, they even have been telling Trump, and he's been saying it'll probably burn out in America in April or May because of the heat. It's going to get warm. This type of virus, unless it mutates again, which it could,
Mm.
doesn't usually survive above 60 degrees Fahrenheit as far as like community spread, meaning contagious. People might still have it in them and it still show up, but it probably will burn out around that time unless something changes. And if you look at the actual like where it's been and where it is and where it's actually been spreading, like contagious wise, community style, none of those places are really warm right now. Everywhere is pretty much in winter or in the end of winter. So it's kind of like where it is here, where it's right in that sweet spot for viruses, where it in between, freezing and not, and actually warm. And that's where people start to get sick anyway. So this virus is just loving it. It's having a field day because of that. As soon as it starts to get warmer and that stuff, it starts to impact it. And like I said, unless it changes, I think it'll just become something that they're just treating a few cases of here or there of people who still had it, but it hadn't shown up yet or whatever. I really don't. I'm not worried about the virus being a major thing as far as it killing, millions of people. It could, but I don't think that's going to happen just because of the timing of it. If this had came about and hit over here in like December and stuff, that might have been different. But since it's hitting right at the end of winter, it's already starting to warm up here. It's going to be like 60 something degrees tomorrow here. Um, I don't think it's going to be that big of a problem. The problem is going to be what Pixel was talking about is the panic and the
Yeah.
fact that we're running out of stuff.
Economics.
Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah, if people don't calm down and just get some food, get some extra food, some non-perishable food, cans of whatever, vegetables or fruit or whatever, just stuff that won't go bad in a month or two. Put it up on your shelf or put it on your counter, and just if you can't leave your house, then at least you can eat, and the water will keep running. Everybody will be fine. You don't need toilet paper. It's fine.
Yeah.
You have. I'm sure you have towels in your house. If need be, you can use a little hand towel. It'll
That's
be
true.
okay.
It'll be all right. Yeah. And of course, if you're really worried about it, just reduce your consumption. But
Yeah.
that enough on that. I did want to talk a little bit about the other aspect of this particular article here. This is from that one that Somali likes, the splintering, and the now. I like the idea of the second part because what E3 or ESA, the guys who control it, what they're thinking about doing is turning it into an online event. And I personally have thought that E3 and some of these other ones should have been an online event for a long time. What do you guys think about shifting E3 over to an online event, something like Nintendo's Treehouse?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I think they should probably do it. I really don't. I personally think the big event stuff. We're probably the last generation that's even going to do that, simply because the internet's going to become so fast and so good, and the ability to just basically project a 3D space will become so easy that you won't have to actually be there. You'll be able to put on a headset and bam, you're there. I mean, it'll be virtual reality for real. So I don't think there'll be a lot of huge events like we've, all experienced throughout our lives. One also, the other problem is I don't think, terrorism's ever going to stop. Not totally anyway, and they're going to find different ways of hitting events that are pretty much unstoppable. Bioterrorism could be a real threat coming up soon too, more so than it's ever been. So I think you're going to see a large events just not be a thing anymore anyway. They're not going to be sustainable. People just aren't going to go.
Yeah.
So the
Fair enough.
alternative will be internet events. Connect
Yeah.
through the internet. You can watch it, which most people do. Like I said, most people do that with E3 anyway, and they have
Yeah.
for years.
Because you can't
Talk
go.
about creating a hysteria, though, Thundero.
Why?
I doubt it, Thundero.
Yeah.
You have,
I think you're extrapolating way too much.
Yeah, me too.
no, I'm not. It's not. That's not my opinion. That's the opinion of people who do this for a living. They honestly think.
Well, okay, the people who do this for a living make money off doing this for a living. Let me explain something to this. This has happened before. People have died. A lot of people have died. If people get over it, they get
talking about period. There will be no need for
the progression of technology, right?
Okay, the progression of technology is fine, but people we are a gregarious sort of people.
Yeah.
Unless we have a fundamental change in how we perceive ourselves, we want to associate with those that are of like mind, and it will happen.
Mhm.
All right. This is not going to stop. And if you think it is, then you might be a little bit introverted.
Interesting. But I did catch another thing in this article I thought was kind of interesting because a lot of people have been throwing out nicknames for it. Of course, the Wu Flu, Corona-chan, but I hadn't heard this one before. The Kami Cough. It's pretty cool.
I still respect you, Thundero. I really do. I love you, man.
That's all right. I don't you. No, you're just wrong. I'll allow you to be wrong. Yeah.
Well,
mentality. Your mentality's done, dude. The young generation aren't like that. There's a few of them that are.
They'll die off really quickly then, and we won't. That's what happens.
They don't have to meet in person. There's no reason to.
They will die off quickly.
Well, what comes around goes around.
I think-
I get your point. Yeah.
Yeah, I think events like this are going to become smaller. I don't think they'll ever go away anytime soon. But you look at events like BlizzCon, for instance, which is Blizzard's annual gaming convention based for their games and whatnot. They've offered a digital package every year for the past, I think, 10 years approximately. where you're able to stream pretty much all of the panels. You can watch the events, the games, people playing against each other. The only thing you don't get out of that experience is being able to go to booths and get stuff and hang out with your friends and everything. But beyond that, you get all of the news, you get all of the stuff that you're really interested in. I can see an adoption of that happening for a lot of things like the Comic Cons and stuff that currently have tons and tons of panels. If they worked that out with some kind of streaming company to be able to put that stuff online on a regular basis, it would be a complete paradigm shift for a lot of these guys. But it's going to take time. Just because, I mean, but it's all nerds. So, I mean, we should be able to get that stuff figured out pretty easy.
Yeah.
But you never know.
True,
But
true.
you can't go pick up a book at a digital convention. Of
No.
course, you could download a copy, but it's just not the same as having those
True.
books in your hands. I get it.
Have it
Nope.
delivered.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
You
not
can
the
have it
same.
delivered.
Yeah, I get both your statements. I think they're both true. Actually, we will see technology move forward, and we'll see more and more digital space type of things happening without question. But I think there will always be that come together and be with other people because we are gregarious, we are social creatures, and you can see this with the pushback with the board gaming world, right? Because those of you who don't know, board games are in a freaking golden age, like they've never seen. Tabletop gaming, and it's because people's have been playing video games for a while, and they kind of they're detached, right? Where if you're sitting around a table with a bunch of people having fun playing a game, you're socially interacting, and
Right.
so I think they're both correct. I do have
It's like it's like a party though. Like you go like over to my local place they have a place to eat. They have coffee. They have a place next door that gives a discount on pizza. And then people come and they play games all damn night.
yeah, it's
And
fun.
it's all week long.
Yeah,
It's one of those things. They have the Warhammer night, they have this night, they have that night, and I'm not even into that stuff, and I'm kind of jealous of it because everybody has this community, and that stuff ain't gonna quit. I
How
mean,
many people go to that? Would you say?
On the weekends, there's probably 50, 60 to 100, depending. They have they have upstairs and they have downstairs. It's just.
I'm talking about gatherings with large thousands and
Well, I
thousands
mean,
of people.
again, like that depends on what you're doing for. I mean, we're gonna have large gatherings. We're gonna have things like we're gonna have concerts and festivals, and that stuff's not gonna end. We're gonna have football games.
Sell now.
What?
Concerts barely sell now. You know that, right? If they don't have stacked cards, people don't go to them.
Well, I mean, that's what happens when you go to a festival. You have to have a draw. I mean, that's how it
Those
is.
are the only ones that draw are festivals. Regular concerts don't draw like
because they've priced themselves out.
They have.
Well,
It's interesting because I agree with everyone here. I think it's all right, but it'll be interesting to see how it plays out in the future. What will the future look like? Will it be a much more of a digital domain like Thundero was talking, or will it become a mixed media? I personally think it'll become mixed media because I agree. I also agree with Slick. People like to sit down and be with each other, even if for a
Well, I
long
mean,
time they don't. Yeah, it's
I'm gonna give you an instance that has not stopped for years.
uh,
Burning Man. All right, now Burning Man's a bunch of fucking hippies out in the middle of the goddamn desert.
It is. Yeah.
But 50,000 people show up every damn year, and out in the middle of a wasteland, a city appears for a week,
Yeah.
and the crazy shit goes on, and capitalism happens. No matter what they think that they're doing, that happens almost to a crazy degree. Bring water if you ever go. Let's just put it that way. But this is the type of thing it's going to happen. People of like mind will show up. It might morph, it might change. There might be a lessening of one and then another, but it's going to happen. And then the stuff online, it'll be there too. But I mean, it's not the same. It won't be the same. They won't get the same charge out of it. It'll just be like you floating like a ghost, and it won't be this interaction. It just won't happen.
First of all, it will be interactive. It'll be incredibly interactive. I don't think you understand how powerful virtual reality actually can be and will be very soon.
Yeah. Okay. That's a nice idea until I literally can reach out and touch a girl and it feels the same.
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's
it's
not going to be different.
that you know that.
Exactly that.
This is you, Slick. You and I are basically the same age, Todd as well, and that's our thinking. It is, but
I
keep,
suppose.
but you know,
I mean, until we have mind jacks, that's not going to be the same. I'm
true,
sorry.
but let me just give you an example. We were talking about these Twitch thoughts earlier with that silly little girl. They actually have a digital version. I forget what its name is. Melody something. A
Hmm.
digital thing. It's a digital character dancing around. It's not even very good, and it's showing off the naked body of this bad anime art, and it's
Hmm.
making money hand over fist, dude.
Yep.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, I
It's
have to say
insane.
that the people who are really adherents to that, if they don't get out of their house, they're going to take themselves out of the gene pool.
Yeah, well, that they've probably already done that. But then again, historically, a very low percentage of men actually have produced all the people that are alive today. You'd be
Yeah,
shocked, actually. Yeah. So
Only like
you got to leave it to
17%,
us. We'll take care of it. We've all done our part to
I think.
spring up the seed of the world. But I want to leave off on this conversation though, and I want to end it with the quote at the end of the article, which I think is hilarious. I know what you're thinking. So, some communist bat soup eating weirdo is now responsible for me losing my big summer gaming party. Yeah, pretty much. Effing cancel culture. Am I right? Okay. But here's the thing.
was that Thundella's quote? I'm wondering.
Oh, goodness gracious.
No,
But
there is, but like you said, the brain jacks, that's already being made. Elon Musk says he's already got one working.
yeah, no,
Um,
Ugh.
there's pretty
I
amazing
don't
stuff
think you
going on.
realize how advanced technology is when you get up into the upper echelons of the wealthy.
You know,
These people pretty
Well,
much already have what you're talking
I
about. They
don't
just have,
want something that plugs me into something. I just don't like that.
yeah,
yeah, but
I agree,
you're
but
the older
we
generation. The
are
next
older.
generation will just be used to it.
Yeah, but if you
Like how many people we walk around with our cell phones and stuff all the time. We don't even think about it, but we're basically cyborgs because we have this
Well,
device.
I guess Huxley's future is going to be the thing.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, dude. But speaking, because I am moving off from this conversation, but I do want to add a couple of points. One, do keep in mind that just a few days ago, the Communist Party in China threatened America if they not apologize, they will cut off supplies to America. Understand that. Now, that's basically threatening death upon America. Get that? Understand that. This is China,
Yes.
right?
Well,
For one,
I think it's a great thing actually.
I,
I think
yeah, hopefully
it's a
it'll.
wake up call. It's the silver lining that says, yeah, fuck these guys. Let's just make things ourselves.
Yep. I think we need to do that, and I hope that's what comes out of this. The other thing I want to say about technology, and there are certain technologies that are being developed that nobody talks about, and it's clearly because the media is being paid by oil and things like that. But there is one technology, if you don't know about, you should be paying very close attention to it. There is something called the Sapphire Project. Now, with these crazy bastards, what they've done is they've created a sun in a laboratory. All right.
Hmm.
Now, with that sun, what they have done over the past many years of playing with their Legos, what they have accomplished is an actual perpetual engine. I'm not joking. It's an actual perpetual engine. Not only that, but between the plasma layers of this sun, they have been able to produce elements, right? And once they get their frequencies, who know? They're already making titanium out of the artificial sun. And of course, what this project has also done is proved clearly that plasma science is the science, not nuclear physics. Right, clearly, because the sun is constantly spitting out every element we know about. And a matter of fact, they have found 2 new elements we didn't even know about. Right, that is the technology that is going to change the world, and nobody is talking about it. That is freaking science fiction right there, baby. Right? And no one is talking about it. An actual perpetual engine, and these guys are moving forward too. The Orion company is actually working with them to create generators. So in the
Is it
future,
Orion or Orion?
no, it's Orion. It is Orion.
Okay.
You will have in the next 10 years, maybe 15, you'll be able to go out and buy a generator, put in your house, turn it on, and you're done. It has no radioactive emissions. Matter of fact, the cool thing they found about this is ridiculous science, right? The cool thing they found about it as well, they can take radioactive material that we're constantly paying Finland and other places to store, right? Because we don't know what to do with. They can take nuclear material, put it into the machine, and it makes it redundant. It gets rid of the radioactivity of it. So these guys, just on a side, they could go to make tons of money by getting rid of the world's nuclear waste. This is the real
I have a
deal.
question.
Yeah.
I have a question. If they have a son, a small, in size son.
Yeah.
And I guess they're feeding things into it to keep the fission going or the fusion going.
Uh-huh.
Um, it if it is a sun, it should be putting off radiation.
It's not. Yeah, it's not. Because it's what they're showing is that we don't understand the sun. We don't understand actually what it's doing. And it kind of ties in a little bit to some of our other conversations on TFT, because, they keep telling us space is radioactive. And it's like, okay, we'll take your word for it. But these guys have actually recreated a sun that is doing exactly like a sun. They have documented it is precisely a sun, and it gives off no radiation whatsoever. It gives off heat, for sure. It produces elements, but it doesn't give off radiation. Therefore, maybe, just maybe, NASA is lying to you about that. Just possibly, right?
What is this project called? What is it?
Sapphire, Project Sapphire. SAFIR, Sapphire.
So that doesn't that to me, at least from my understanding of what a sun is, that does not describe a sun.
That's the point. You've been lied to, dude. It is that the sun is electrical. It is not nuclear at all. That's the whole point.
Duped.
You've been duped, dude. And the thing that's also very cool about this is that the perpetual nature of it, and because you talked about stuff going in, and they use hydrogen, right? Hydrogen, not radioactive, the most abundant resource we have that we know exists in the universe. It's just hydrogen's everywhere. And not only do they use the hydrogen, you say, okay, well, then they have to keep putting hydrogen in to keep the system going. Therefore, it's not perpetual, right? No, because they put the hydrogen in to create the catalyzation, but then they reuse the hydrogen. It's actually perpetual, dude. It's actually perpetual. And the energy that they create off of it, they put back in to keep the system running, and then it creates this incredible abundance. Matter of fact, they've got it to the point now where 7% input is creating 113% output. Do you get this? Do you understand? You could take one of these generators and power a frickin' town, dude.
Yes. Now imagine all of that power running a artificial intelligence powered, or artificial intelligence basically designed to create a simulation of, I don't know, the Super Bowl.
Okay, why don't we go back to that conversation? Damn it, Thundera.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Listen to me.
Yeah, okay.
We put that on. You slap that on your head or whatever. It's a pod you sit in or whatever. You don't even necessarily need a brain jack. If it's powerful enough, you'll be there. It'll be very similar to something like a holodeck in Star Trek, right? That's what it'll feel like.
Yeah. No, those things are coming. You are right. There's a lot of people working on virtual reality things. Many times they've tried virtual reality in the past, but this time they're sticking to it. We'll see some stuff very soon. But I'm just saying, it shocks me. It doesn't shock me. It just saddens me, I guess, because this Sapphire project is a real deal, man. It's not a joke. It's not fake science. It's real science, and it is absolutely startling what they've done. I would really suggest to all of you, go over and check out the Starfire project, look at the data, see what they're doing. It is insane.
How about the Raven project?
Starfire. Sapphire, sorry about that.
They should have named it that. That's a way better name.
It would be, yeah. I'm sorry, what did you say, Slake?
It is a much better name. Starfire project, considering.
I can't find it anywhere in the internet though.
Why? It's easy.
S-A-F-I-R-E. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, SAFIRE. Starfire.
Okay.
Sapphire, not Starfire.
No, I've changed it. I'm going to stick with it. It's forever Starfire. But no, the Sapphire project, go check it out, man.
I got it.
Yeah. It's just look at the data. Look at the data yourself. It's insane. what they're doing. It's just now I don't know how much of this kind of physics you understand, but it's not hard to educate yourself. You can look at the terms they're putting up there and then go search it, and you'll understand what they're talking about. But when I watched their update they came out with here recently, I because when I just saw the data, just they just put data, just so smart video because you just put data. And I was just looking at them like, oh my God, dude. Because I always knew this project was going to be something. It's always interested me since it started. I've been keeping an eye on it. But this recent update that they put out, it's going to change the world, dude. It's going to change the world. And they have enough support, enough money behind them that the big companies and these politicians that support them aren't going to be able to murder them away so easily, right? Which has happened in the past. I know you might chuckle at that, but that's not a conspiracy theory. That's reality, right?
Correct.
So
So,
what happens when we make make better companions? This is the one I look forward to.
oh, I see. Well, we'll just get rid of the useless women, I suppose.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, if feminists don't wise up to the fact that men are fixers, we fix stuff.
Hmm.
You keep telling us we're obsolete. The ones who are actually proactive are just going to say, well, I guess we're going to have to build a better mousetrap, right?
Right. Well,
And we will build a better woman that will be nicer to us and take care of us and smell better and look better and have a womb and
I
all
don't
that other
know.
stuff.
Yeah, I don't know, Slick. I kind of like makeup sex. It's pretty cool. Yeah,
I don't.
I'm
I
all
don't.
for
I
that. Yeah.
it just well, if you have a significant other that you're long term commitment, fine. But if it's just some crazy bitch, I don't want to stick my dick in crazy. That
That's true.
that has
I'm
always
actually
ended
kidding.
in
My wife and I never have
fucking
any
nuts,
fights
man.
ever. So I've never actually had a makeup sex in the past,
Do you,
25 years. But anyway,
Chester? Do
yeah,
you happen to
Lucky
have
you.
any
yeah.
comic book news?
I do. Shut up. This is important, Todd.
Just curiosity.
Who
Jesus.
cares about
Um,
comic books when we're talking about the future?
we are. We are. And this is
Think
FanSpeak,
about
by the way.
this
It's not
though.
comic book news.
Think about this with my virtual reality thing. Hang on 1 second. Hang on. Trust me.
Okay.
Imagine if instead of making comic books because it's a let's say it's just not feasible in the future, they instead make like hollow novels, hollow comic books. You
Ooh.
put on a little thing and
So
bam, it's like
basically, the hollow deck. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've
yeah,
heard of that thing
I'd be
before.
all I'd
comic
be all
books.
for that actually. I'd be all for that.
That'd be sweet.
Can you imagine
Yeah.
if you were in like in a superhero holodeck and
Yeah,
that'd be
you
fucking
know
That
the
would
funny.
actually be cool. Do you remember the Deep Space Nine guys that they
Oh,
had
that was
their
awesome. Yeah, yeah, you're right.
no
Uh,
the Voyager guys? They had their
it
like
was
Ming the Merciless kind of
Yeah,
guy
they
and a
both those
robot
shows did it.
pack.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it
It
was
was
really
cool.
cool.
It was. But just a funny little thing. I remember a few years back, a bunch of feminists putting together a scientific group where they were going to work on creating sperm so they could just get rid of men and make their own babies. And of course, the projects have every attempt at that has failed miserably because it's an insanely complicated thing to do. But here's the interesting side effect of that attempt. Scientists have also gone out and tried to make eggs, and they've done it successfully
Oh,
because
of course.
the female egg is such a simple structure, whereas the sperm, which of course makes
Yeah,
babies,
it's
is very
modal, and it's
complicated.
also
Yeah,
modal. It's actually a small form of life
yeah,
that moves
it
around and
is.
has
Yeah,
a purpose and,
yeah,
and a directive. The eggs just sit there.
yeah. So take
They're,
that,
they're, I think
feminist.
I think
Sorry.
there's an analogy there somehow.
There is. Now let's move on to actual comic book news before Todd has himself a conniption.
No.
Uh, So, DC postpones final two issues of Batman versus Ra's al Ghul and Inferior 5 indefinitely. Now, I have to
Oof.
say I am 100% ignorant on this situation. So, Todd, please enlighten me. What's the situation with Batman versus Ra's al Ghul and
That
this
is
Inferior 5?
well, I don't know what's in Fear Five, but Batman is a Neil Adams written, drawn, everything Neil Adams.
Okay, so why is it
The
canceled
son is
indefinitely? What's
coloring
the
it
problem?
because he's slow as fuck, and he goes to conventions and charges $50 for his autograph, makes a ton of money, and draws slow at home. Well, that's what happens.
And the Inferior 5 is done by let's see, Jeff Lemire is doing the story, written by Keith Griffin and Jeff Lemire, art and cover by Keith Griffin. So this is separate, but it's
Michelle
been
Delecky.
It wasn't even. It was terrible. It didn't sell well.
so
So
they're
I
just
don't know.
bad. So they're canceled because they're bad.
No, obviously not. No, the Batman one isn't canceled. It's already the dates have already been solicited for the new, the new schedule. That's Neil Adams. Come on,
Yeah, but I'm
he's
just I'm
a
just
great
telling you,
artist.
this article is telling us that they have canceled the issue 7 and on for Batman versus Ra's al Ghul indefinitely. So it's not scheduled.
No. It was only a 6-issue limited series, and 4 and 5 been pushed back about 2 months.
I see.
That's exactly what happened.
All right.
So that pushes 6 back. So 4, 5, and 6 are all pushed back.
Okay. I see. So the idea was they were supposed to be longer, but they've decided to just cut them down and end them. I see. That's what's happening here. All right. All right, cool. So, slow artist putting out stuff. It's unfortunate that people like this get a name for themselves and have to be relied upon. But all right, well, there's a bit of comic book news for you. Let's move on to my next segment of things, which have nothing to do with comic books whatsoever, Todd. I do apologize. But here is a picture for the ladies. You can enjoy Mr. Craig's body there. It's a kind of sexy man. But I kind of want to look at a trail of stories here that are connected. And James Bond star Daniel Craig admits Donald Trump will be a focused in upcoming No Time to Die film. Okay, now we've seen this done several times, putting the modern day politic directly into your movie without any cleverness whatsoever. We also have this article here where we have the absolute useless Heather Antos, who's done nothing other than suck on a frickin' milkshake, has been put over at Valiant now. She gets upgraded again. Now she's in
Is that a
charge.
euphemism?
No, no. But she's been put in charge, and it's as if Valiant hadn't kicked itself in the head enough, right? Valiant had a great resurgence, 10 years ago? Something like that, 12 years ago. They came out of the ashes and rose with a really nice run, and now they're on their knees again, and they're basically stabbing themselves straight in the eye by continuing their wokeness. And I just don't get why these useless people keep getting promoted upward, because this is the death of Valiant. They're basically already dead. So I mean, why are you doing this, right? Let's continue. The CEO Bob Chapek confirmed Disney will have an increased commitment to LGBT characters and stories moving forward. Well, Disney is supposed to be a family thing. Why are you pushing on sex anyway, especially deviant sex? I mean, why should it be part of the conversation at all? It's freaking Disney, right? And you had just a little offhand comment in this movie here, Onward, I think it was, and you killed it. You killed it. Why? Because you get mothers groups that are coming up in the millions calling for boycotts of them, right? The Eternals are already being boycotted by mothers groups. Once again, Marvel, Disney, why are you putting sexuality into your stuff? It doesn't need to be there unless you're making some drama indie film about such a thing, which should be put under a different label anyway, right? So, I mean, and then if we take a look over here at this last little connecting line, Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic scores for Hunter is announced. But The Hunter, of course, The Hunt, sorry, is a movie that we were talking about earlier that looked like it was going to get canceled, but it's not now. Where they're basically you have a bunch of people who are tweeting something that someone didn't like, so they trick them to getting into place so they can hunt and kill them, right? So it's basically the freaking Twitterverse's wet dream, right? And they went and spent, they went and spent $14 million on this shit, right? So they can make a political statement about people they don't like on Twitter. This is what's happening in the world today.
Well,
Look at that stream. Look at that. Look at this shit,
isn't
dude.
isn't it progressives hunting like redneck Trump
No,
supporters, something like
they
that?
are, but they're hunting people who tweeted something they didn't like. That's what they're. That's who they're hunting. These people have been put into a deadly situation because they said the wrong thing online, not because they were rapists or murderers or racist church shooter uppers. Nothing like that. They just simply tweeted something that they didn't like, and these crazy SJWs are hunting them and down and murdering them. I'm telling you, it's a wet dream of freaking the Twitterverse, dude. That's what it is, right? And it's just, and they spend money on this. They spend money on it, right? And it's going to bomb like crazy, just like this movie's going to bomb, just like this movie bombed, just like this company is bombing, and just like this movie's already dead in the water. It's like, why, you idiots? This is so stupid way to go. Don't you believe in money?
Do you think they're going to add Bond to, like, Star Wars, Star Trek, and Doctor Who?
Well, they already have. I mean, they're attacking everything. They're trying to destroy everything. We were just talking the other day about how Lord of the Rings is being made by, I think, HBO, and they just fired the entire writing staff. Now, did they do that because they weren't woke enough, or did they do that because they were too woke? Well, by looking at the article, the dude who was actually walked away, he wasn't fired, he left, is an actual historian of Tolkien. So I'm thinking it's probably the other way around. It wasn't woke enough. They probably hired a bunch of actual experts to write for Lord of the Rings, and they were like, "No, we're not doing that," and they're getting rid of them because they want to make it woke. And so it's just another IP for them to destroy. Because, and I've said this so many times, and I've had so much pushback against it, and I don't know why you keep pushing back against me, because I've been right all along. This is about man hating. This is about taking everything that men love and destroying it. That's what this is. They don't care about making money. They're on a mission. They want to tear men down because they hate them, right? It's a bunch of nasty lesbians destroying the world and their little allies, right? That's what this is. Now, I had so many of you guys keep pushing back and saying, no, Chester, it's about this, about that. No, it's not. It
When
is
have I ever pushed
simple.
back
Not
on that?
you. I'm not talking to you, dude. Trust me, I've got plenty of emails on this crap. I'm telling you guys, this is simple. It always is simple. It's about man hating. This is straight up misandry. And they are
No, and
winning,
misandry
dude.
is it's rampant right now. It's
It
totally
is.
rampant.
But I'm saying they're winning, dude. Because they look at Doctor Who's dead, right? Star
Killed
Wars
it.
is dead. They've killed everything.
Killed
Board games are under a huge assault. I mean, come on, board games, it's a family freaking thing to do, a family event. And they destroyed that.
Well, the
Everything.
reality is, you just hit on it right there. That's what they really want. They want to destroy the nuclear family.
Yeah, that
The
is true.
reason they want
They're
to
doing
destroy
that.
the nuclear family is because all liberty, human decency, ingenuity, all greatness comes from there. Everything about civilization itself comes from there. They want to rewrite this world entirely. And the only way they're going to do that is to first get rid of the strongest vanguard for civilization, the family. And it's working. It's working unbelievably well. And it's only going to stop when normal people, normal men specifically, say that's enough. And they stand up and they realize this stuff actually matters, realize they've been sold a bill of goods, like what's going on with, like what just happened with China, how we're all told it's fine. It's perfectly fine if China makes all our drugs. It's perfectly fine if China makes all this. It's perfectly fine. You'll get it cheaper. Isn't that great? Well, no, because what happens if China's like, we're just not going to ship them anymore?
Yeah, no,
Like
then
they,
that's what they threatened. They just threatened that. But let me
yeah.
come over here to this chat because I've been ignoring the chat and I need to stop doing that. So let me try to catch up here. I can't go all the way to the beginning, but I do want to get your opinions in here. Bullet says Ruby Project is one I'm going to back. Okay, it's like the starters MOPRE. I don't know what that means. Sheldon says, does that mean sunburns are fake? Yes, I believe so. It's called the Sapphire Project. That's right. Chester is both shocked
Some
and
burns are not
saddened.
fake.
No, they're not.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, but I am shocked and saddened, right? Will there be a quiz? Yes. Chemtrails. Okay, there's a TFT for you. Adrian says Chester, a sincere mag a couple of years ago had an article about something they may have been calling a creation engine. It could have been talk about Sapphire Project. I don't know. But the Sapphire Project has absolutely blown these scientists away because they're actual scientists, right? They're not. These are not political people. They're not businessmen. They have brought a business company in to help them, but they're actual scientists. So they went in very practically, and they didn't expect that they would be able to create elements. They didn't expect that they'd be able to eat radioactive material. They didn't expect these things, but I'm happy they did. Let's see. Bullet says a better dick wallet. Okay, I don't know how to respond to that. Adrian says, or creation chip or something like that. I don't know, but there's a lot of things in work, I'm sure. And this is something that's in the public that you can research. I'm sure there's all kind of projects going on that we don't know anything about as well. Thundero, they are working on it. Yes, they are. Bullet says, like the old viewfinders that you put the disc into. Yeah, those are fun. Adrian continues, says, they are already making virtual reality art programs. Yes, they are. Where you paint and draw in virtual reality. True. Isn't that sea dumpster? I don't know what that means. Valiant is freaking stupid. They lost more than half their good guys. Some asshole purchased them and they went to shit. Yeah, it's really sad, dude, because Valiant, back in the 70s, early 80s, Valiant was pretty popular. Then it went away. And then they resurged it, had a resurgence, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago or something like that. And it was fun for a while. Then the SJWs took over and they've actually absolutely killed the company again. It's too bad because we just now having Bloodshot coming out with Vin Diesel. Now, it's probably going to just be a simple little B movie with high CG, but it'll be fun probably, right? Sheldon Martin says, didn't they tweet that thing they didn't like in a mirror 5 times? And okay, all right, fine. Wet dream, that will happen probably someday, probably. Amazon Lord of the Rings will be just as shit as Wheel of Time. Now, I heard they were making Wheel of Time, but I haven't seen it. Is it out already?
Not that
No?
I know of.
I thought it was. Maybe it's not, but I heard it's not good.
Wheel of Time. Let me check. I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either because I love that book series.
I liked it okay if I cut out the fucking preamble of every volume.
Oh well, oh no, yeah, it's coming out next year. Next year. So I guess there's been reviews and stuff I haven't seen, but I just haven't been paying attention to it. I do like the Wheel of Time though. Let me see here. I'm going to send you all my new straight white pride shirts. Thank you, Bullet. And the thing is, I didn't say anything about being white. I didn't say anything about being straight. But that is exactly the type of attitude we get. I get the humor though, but I mean that's exactly the thinking of these people. Thunder is on point and absolutely correct. So there you got a fan. No, this creation engine is made by scientists too, and it was a science magazine, and it is a chip that is biologically made. Oh, okay. Well, I even know way back in the early '90s they were working on liquid based computers. Pixel, you still here?
No, he
No.
bounced.
Oh, okay. But he might be able to talk more on that. But let me see here. I'll show this. Adrian says, it's gonna be woke crap, though I see it coming way ahead of time. Yeah, it probably will be. That's the problem. It's kind of what's stuck on what I'm talking about here. I mean, just look at this. Just look at this. James Bond is being cucked out, just like Picard, right? In this new series. Every time he's being yelled at by women, he's walking behind them, he's being chastised, he's been broken down, right? James Bond is going to be insulted and put down by a woman. Really, James Bond? James Bond would go up to her, smack her in the face, kiss her, and then take her to bed. Are you kidding
Yep.
me? Right?
In fact, he's done exactly that before.
And
Yes, he
she'd
has.
like, and
Yes,
she'd
he
like
has.
it.
And she'd love it. That's right.
She'd thank him later.
No, I'm not suggesting that you do that, by the way. This is not how you stop being
I
a
mean,
simp.
if you look like Daniel Craig, you could probably get away
You
with
probably
it. But
could.
everybody else,
It's a bit drastic, though. It is a bit drastic. But I mean, it's so stupid, right? And Valiant, like I said, it's just sad, dude. This Heather Antros girl, if she were something like Gail Simone, right? I would not be as bothered because I don't like Gail Simone's politic, but Gail Simone is talented, right? Just Deconic as well, talented writer. There are some of these noisy progressives in the comic book world who are very noisy, but they're also very, very talented, right? Heather Antos is none of that. All she is literally is a fake gamer girl. That's it, right? And the only thing she added to Marvel, the only thing was because you had a couple of artists or writers over there who were absolutely infatuated with her, which I don't get. I guess they're simps, and made her the Deadpool girl. I don't know what they called it, and Spider Gwen is based on her. Right, that's her contribution to comic books, right? Because from what I can gather from Heather Antos, she's done absolutely nothing. Nothing.
Is Gwenpool? Gwenpool is the one that has basically done her.
Yeah, because some simp was fantasizing over her, and you would think she'd complain about that, right? Isn't that on your agenda, Miss Santos? Really?
I don't know. Who's the other chick?
I don't know. She's probably the one that's been put in charge of Valiant, and therefore it sucks now.
you can just see it. Like you can look right in both of their eyes. they're miserable people. They're miserable. I'm not even trying to be judgmental. You can just just look at their eyes and tell me those aren't eyes crying out in pain. They are.
I,
With smiles on their faces, they're still miserable.
I see nothing but hate and judgment in their eye, but I get your point.
Yeah,
But
those are miserable people. That's
Yeah.
how miserable people operate.
yeah,
Heather was in that milkshake photo, by the
she
way.
was.
Yeah,
She
she was the
was. Yeah,
center of the milkshake.
she was. Yeah, but I'm just saying that it's oh goodness gracious, it's she has no actual accolade, right? Now Marvel
Well,
eventually
there's
fired her.
Unlawful Good, the anthology of crime. But
Huh?
you probably never heard of it.
Probably never
It's
heard
a
of it.
book.
There you go. So once again, no accolades. But this is dumb. This is dumb. You're putting out a kids thing and you're talking about sexuality and like I said, deviant sexuality. I don't care who anyone sleeps with. You can be as gay as you want. Go ahead, gay it up, jump around, dance in your bed, and fantasize about Henry Cavill. But it's
Wow,
not
you went
something.
right to that,
I
huh?
did, dude. It's not something that you put in a freaking Disney kids film, dude. It's not. I mean, the best case scenario is maybe a girl fantasizing about the prince and getting a little kiss on the cheek or something. That's as far as you take it. You don't sit there and talk about homosexual sex in your freaking movie, dude. Come on, get a grip. This right here, why the hell? No one knows about the Eternals. This could have been a big opportunity, and you're killing yourself before you go out because you have to woke it up. It's dumb, dude. It's just
What
dumb.
are they? What are the million moms calling them out for? I haven't been paying attention to this.
Because a bunch of gay
Gay
characters.
kids.
Bunch of gay characters?
Yes,
No,
several.
it's two
No,
gay.
How many
several
gay
gay.
characters are they having?
They have at least several.
It's like really
Several.
interested in the
Yeah,
exact
No,
number.
I'm like out of 10 characters, is it like 3? Because that
No,
seems like
there's a gay kiss between two men, and there's also one of the female characters is lesbian. So it's at least 3. And it's probably more. It will be
Great.
insinuated. And it's once again, why? Why are you shooting
They
yourself in the
know that literally, this is not me making this up, that for straight men, for fully heterosexual men, watching 2 other men kiss is like literally looking at rotting maggoty flesh. That's the same reaction. They've done studies on this that we have
Yeah,
internally.
I don't like looking at it. Of course, I don't like it when people show like ridiculous public displays of affection and
That's true.
walking in the mall where you
That's
see
true.
they're like making out as they walk, or in the pit of whatever. Just
Yeah, that's fair.
keep it like a little pack is okay. I can. Okay,
No,
just
I agree
I
with you. I agree
understand.
with you. I agree with you. It's just interesting because I wonder on the other side of that Thundero, what do women think when they see 2 women kissing though? Is it the same?
I don't think
Depends.
so.
If they're in college,
It depends if
their
they're in
opinions
college.
are different. Yeah,
Well, no, I'm
their
curious
opinions are
because
different.
he's right. There are studies that have been done on that, and it was comparing a male reaction to maggoty meat. I know the study he's talking about. So it is an interesting question. But anyway, that's what I had for today, and I'm baffled by it because this is proven to not work. The whole get woke, go broke thing is real. I know you have people on the internet that are trying to tell you it's not real, but it is real. With this, we've seen the statistics; it's clearly real. And then we just have, what was that? Oh, how many projects? 5 projects right there that are all getting woke and going broke. And this one's the worst because this right here is the stupidest premise. Someone on Twitter says something you don't like, therefore we're going to trick them into a location and then hunt them down and murder them. This is the premise of this movie. Now, if it were set to where it was showing in the end that these people who were tricked end up coming back and defeating the evil people who had done it, okay,
Right, if it's the
maybe
most
fine.
dangerous
But
game. If
that's
they did the
right.
most dangerous game, I'd be all right with it. I mean,
But that's not
'cause
what
that
they're doing.
mean
Because from what I understand, the progressives that trick them win. Right?
great.
So it's ridiculous. Right? And if you twisted that and you made it that the bad guys, the actual bad guys get taken down, that could be an interesting movie. Actually, it would be an interesting take on the state of things in the world. It could have been, but that's not what they've done, right? It's just ridiculous. This stuff, dude, it's ridiculous. I mean, come on, you're killing yourselves. You're killing yourselves. And these could have been cool projects, right? I would love to have seen what they did with the Eternals because look what they did with Guardians of the Galaxy. No one knew about that. Even comic book fans hardly read that. But yet they did something fun with it and it became very popular. It could have been the same with this, but it's dead in the water. So whatever.
Historically speaking, every time that this has happened, this isn't the first time it's happened to Western culture, where some element has pushed extreme sexual deviancy or extreme forms of sexuality as some form of normal or should be accepted. It always ends in blood. It ends very, very badly for the people that are being pushed as the normal, the good guy, for the LGBT crowd.
Or it ends in the dissolution of the civilization.
Yes, well, which ends in blood anyway, because the forces that dissolve it don't care about your sexuality. You have stuff, they're going to take it. So, but that my point is they do this has happened before. It's happening again, and the more that sane people try to warn them that they need to stop, they're not heeding that warning. It's not because those people are necessarily going to turn violent, but somebody is. Because people aren't going to just
a problem. Yeah,
just tolerate you propagandizing their children like this and sexualize. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Fathers eventually are going to be like, no, and just start shooting people. That's what's going to happen.
And we've already seen a little bit of that pushback, and that's really unfortunate and sad. We don't want that. But anyway, we definitely come to the end of the show, guys. Thanks for hanging on with us here. We lost Pixel early, but we know he doesn't have any stamina. We lost Todd probably because we didn't cover enough comic book stuff, and he gets upset with me. But John Dillard's still here. He's a trooper.
How do you not know my voice? You always do this. I'm always here. I'm the one commenting.
I'm just kidding, dude. I'm just kidding. Although I'm kind of curious when I lost John, though. I mean, when did that happen?
A long time ago.
He put it in the little chat here. Like, let's see, 8:37. So pretty early.
Jesus, he just left. But I do like the look of this Florida man thing you got going on here, Todd.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, nice. What's his character's name, by the way? Jeb?
This is Gary Duba or Deba.
Gary Bubba?
Yeah, let's call him Gary Bubba.
There we go.
That'll
It's
work.
Bubba. He doesn't look like a Bubba.
No, it's Gary.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm just trying to, it's starting to get like the character's really starting to get in me, and I'm making them come alive. So hopefully I can pull this off and make this something very interesting that people will want, because it is a great script, but it just doesn't slot in anywhere. It doesn't slot into what your normal.
Yeah.
So it's gonna take a lot of like I'm gonna have to cool everything I can, like cool cars, cool women, good looking women,
Sure.
and just try to give it every nuance of artistic fun I can.
Just keep in mind that with the sexy ladies, Todd, I understand that people want the large breasticles, but there are some of us who appreciate the little ones a little bit smaller too. So don't diversify, please. But of course, it's interesting with Mike Barron. Of course, he wrote the script. Mike, we know him mainly as a comic book guy doing superhero stuff, but he's taken a different path recently, and he's doing non-superhero stuff quite a bit. And I think it's cool, actually. I like Mike Barron's writing in general. So
yeah, he has a very I don't know what to call it, like Elmore Leonard quality, this thing, and that's good visually as far as a movie goes. So now I'm trying to figure this out and sort of really get cerebral with it so that I can actually pull this off. And it's not easy. I'll tell you, I don't know what it is about me getting the most like things that are outside my wheelhouse, and like I did horror. And that really wasn't my wheelhouse, and I really wish I could do that again. But this, I'm really slowing down and trying to figure this out. And like I said, if I can make the cars cool, the women look great, I think that'll be halfway there.
Yeah, that's cool. Mike does a good job writing psychologically as well. Does this script have a lot of that in it, or is this a new path for him?
It does have some of that. Remember, this is a book meant to be sort of funny.
Yeah.
But yet it's not written comedically. It's situational comedy for instance, like Gary robs a convenience store with an alligator who he's holding like an AK-47. So there are no really funny lines in that scene, but if I can pull off some people around in that scene that are acting to what's going on,
Sure.
then I can give it something, like I can give it a little extra. And that's really not, that's really difficult to do in comics.
Well,
I honestly have all the comics I've read, I've never read anything that does that. So
I would
I've got no
suggest that you
roadmap,
reference Jim Varney's Ernest.
right, Jim Martin.
Yeah.
But it's hard to do something without a roadmap, like,
Yeah.
oh, I could go here and look at this and see how they handle that comedy.
Yeah. Well,
It's
that's
not
cool,
like
dude.
that. I know, although I've never read Hawaiian Dick. I don't know if anyone has. If that
I
was
do
like that,
believe that was a project that ripped people off, didn't it?
wasn't it? I do believe you're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wasn't that
It's
what's
one of
his name?
those that falls
Richard
into.
Pace.
Yeah, he kind of ripped people off and didn't care. But anyway, it'll be interesting to see what comes from it. I do want to mention that Jim Varney is an unsung hero. That guy's an absolutely killer actor, actually. But it is time for us to go, however. So thank you very much, Todd, for coming down and giving your insight and opinions and looking at your cool art. Thank you very much, Thundero, for your vision of the future. And thank you very much, Slick, for being an old man with me. Thank you. But it is what it is. But I think I'm going to pick Todd because Todd hasn't been able to speak much today, but he has important things to tell us. So he's got to namaste us out of here. Go ahead, man.
All right, so today's Wednesday, new comic day, and I know we didn't talk comics, but that's okay. We talked a lot of future, but one thing I want to point out that there's a book that came out today. It's called Decorum, and it was very experimental. It's a different, there's a different thing going on here. This is Jonathan Hickman and Mike Huddleston, really really good artists. So you guys should check it out because and give it a chance. Don't just read issue one, because this is about an assassin, a well-mannered assassin. So check this out. It's called Decorum, and you guys all have a good night. Namaste.
Namaste. Later, everybody.
Bye.